I come from a country I'm old enough to have seen the Second World War.
Birleşmiş Milletler eski Genel Sekreter Yardımcısı Hans von Sponeck, 20. ve 21. yüzyıldaki büyük acılara yakından tanıklık etmiş bir isim.
I know what war is like. I know how painful war is like.
Babası Hans Emil Otto Graf Sponeck, Alman ordusunda 1. Dünya Savaşı sırasında subaydı. 2. Dünya Savaşı'nda ise general. Hitler'e yönelik suikast girişimine katıldığı şüphesi üzerine 1944'te idam edildi.
My father was executed. My mother was in a camp. My grandfather died on the way into a prison. My half-brother was shot in the battle. So I know what war is. I was in Iraq at a time when Iraq was completely dependent on external humanitarian assistance. People wouldn't have survived without the oil for food program.
Birleşmiş Milletler kariyerinde çatışma ve savaş bölgelerinde görevler yapan Hans von Sponeck, kuruluşun yapısına sert eleştiriler yöneltiyor.
I repeat, not being able to solve and prevent or manage conflicts and wars. Well, let me be specific. Iraq? No, there was no solution. There was in fact an illegal invasion. Ukraine? No. Afghanistan? No. Libya? No. So people are there now. Political figures also, I must add, is this new civil society. Is the United Nations worth to exist? If this is the case, my answer to that is very clearly the political United Nations, meaning the Security Council and the General Assembly, are today badly in need of reform. If they are not reformed, they cannot play the role that the world needs.
İkinci Dünya Savaşı sonrası kurulan kurumların bugünün dünyasını yansıtmadığı tespitine biz de katılıyoruz. Bu tespit bizim dünya 5'ten büyüktür çağrımızı ifade ediyor.
The world is bigger than 5, but I would go one step further. The world is bigger than 5 governments, but the world has become even bigger because of the role that civil society, non-governmental organizations play today that they were not able to play yesterday.
Birleşmiş Milletler Güvenlik Konseyi'nin yapısı 2. Dünya Savaşı'ndan sonra belirlendi.
So what? In 1945, when 3 old men met in Yalta in Crimea, Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin, they had a dream. The dream was one to, together as a team, to make sure that the world order is governed in such a way that East and West have a share. Now that dream didn't last very long, and what yesterday was a dream, today is a nightmare.
5 daim üyenin veto hakkının bulunduğu konseyde temsil sorunu giderek yüksek sesle tartışılıyor.
So the entire establishment is linked to the West. And if you then know, this is nothing new whatsoever, is that we have had a very unilateral oriented power structure in the UN, then you can understand why in the 21st century now we have reached a situation where this is no longer in line with the current geopolitical world order. The world order today is much more diversified, is much more, unfortunately, also polarized. And the countries that yesterday were colonies have become mature, independent countries that say, wait a minute, we exist, we have a voice, we will speak out, and we will do what we think is in our best interest.
We also share the aspiration of African states to take a more active part in the activities of the United Nations. We see the active position taken by the African Union in this regard. We stand ready for practical consideration of any proposals to expand the representation of Africans in the bodies of the United Nations, including in the context of the proposed reform of the UN Security Council. We believe it is time to mend the historic injustice towards the African continent.
Some very easy answers. One answer is you cannot have in 2023 a Security Council that is based on the geopolitical reality of 1945. You have 5 members, 5 permanent members in the Security Council, 3 of which are from the West. Africa is not represented at all in the group of permanent countries. Latin America is not at all represented in that group. Asia, with over 50% of the global population, has 1 seat with China. So this is, I come back to what I said at the beginning, the West-centric orientation of the UN of yesterday is no longer helpful at all in the world in which we live today.